Brawlhalla. Some may find it dismissive to label Brawlhalla Dead or Alive 6. Dead or Alive 6, much like its immediate predecessor, is one part fighting game, one part fashion show, and one part schlocky action movie. Individually, each of the game's widely differing elements might not stand up to scrutiny. After all, DOA 6 isn't the best fighter, doesn't offer the deepest character customization, and doesn't quite reach the Tekken series level of story insanity. Yet, Dead or Alive 6 is an entertaining and surprisingly strategic PC game that offers enough freshness to warrant playing with its new break blow and break hold tools. Plus, the game's familiar triangle system and danger zones are highly entertaining, too. Divekick. Iron Galaxy Studios' Divekick is the most hipster game ever created. It's the product of the indie scene, and it mercilessly parodies fighting games and their die-hard community, yet demands that you be part of the underground circle to fully get all of the references and in-jokes. It's also a lot of fun if you open your mind to the insane concept of a one-on-one fighter based almost entirely on the idea of jumping and kicking. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Beside Fist of the North Star and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there are few anime properties that are as intrinsically suited to the fighting game treatment as the Dragon Ball series. Spanning multiple series, movies, and generations of characters, Akira Toriyama's manga-turned-anime-turned-game series is all about buff monkey men, humans, aliens, and androids trading blows in actual earth-shattering battles. Dragon Ball FighterZ ditches the Xenoverse game's arena brawling model in favor of 3 vs 3 tag team fighting on a 2D plane. The gameplay shift is just one of the many reasons Dragon Ball FighterZ is being held aloft as one of 2018's notable titles. Its beautiful design, Garou, Mark of the Wolves. Upon its 1999 release, Garou, Mark of the Wolves, a surprisingly deep and visually stunning entry in the long-running Fatal Fury series, was hailed as SNK's wondrous response to Capcom's Street Fighter III. Nearly 20 years later, SNK has finally given the 1 vs 1 fighting game the proper PC treatment by releasing it with numerous additional graphics options, leaderboards, and online versus play. The result is an excellent PC game that boasts beautiful animation, just defend parries, and the strategic T.O.P. system. Code Mystics gave Garou rollback netcode via a post-release patch, so online battles are buttery smooth. Guilty Gear Strive. The Guilty Gear series reigns as the king of anime-style fighting games due to its gorgeous art style, and a rich, demanding, and lightning-quick combat system. Unfortunately, its oceanic depth and mountainous skill ceiling proved inaccessible to the casual player, until now. With Strive, developer Arc System Works streamlines the series' unique combat mechanics to make them more newcomer-friendly, while retaining the older game's creative richness. Strive comes with fewer extra modes than its predecessors, but there is a lot to love in this PC game, including astounding visuals, impressive character play styles, and snappy, lag-free online play courtesy of top-tier, rollback netcode. Guilty Gear XRD Sign. Guilty Gear is a niche series within a niche genre, one that's enjoyed a cult following since its first appearance in 1998. With XRD Sign, developer Arc System Works ditches the series' 2D sprites in favor of 3D cel-shaded graphics in an attempt to expand its audience. Likewise, series creator Daisuke Ishiwatari sought a more approachable play style that maintained the depth and high skill ceiling that longtime Guilty Gear fans love. The result is a feature-packed fighting game that boasts incredible graphics and deep mechanics. Unfortunately, it arrived on PC after many Guilty Gear fans had moved on to the next game in the series, Guilty Gear XRD Revelator. So, like The Last Blade, Guilty Gear XRD Sign is a game that's worth buying if you don't mind local play and the lack of online competition. Killer Instinct. When Killer Instinct debuted for Windows 10 in March 2016, it represented the latest chapter in the continued PC fighting game renaissance. With its arrival, Microsoft's combo-heavy, one-on-one game of fisticuffs joined the likes of Guilty Gear, the King of Fighters, Street Fighter, and other high-profile series that now grace the personal computer. Thankfully, Iron Galaxy, the development team that picked up the Killer Instinct reins after Double Helix, the original developer, was purchased by Amazon, has delivered a remarkably fun, season-based title that's more than worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as its competition. The King of Fighters 98, Ultimate Match Final Edition. The King of Fighters 98 is widely regarded as one of the best fighting games ever made, so it's no surprise that developer SNK has returned to the title many times since the game's original release. In 2008, SNK celebrated the game's 10th anniversary by porting the team-based fighter to the PlayStation 2 as The King of Fighters 98, Ultimate Match, a game loaded with extra characters, stages, and gameplay modes. Now, a tweaked Ultimate Match is available for PCs as The King of Fighters 98, Ultimate Match Final Edition, a game that rebalances the massive 64-character roster and adds Steam trading cards and achievements. Final Edition's gameplay retains its predecessor's wonderfully deep and flexible fighting mechanics, but it's missing features that were present in the beloved PS2 version. The King of Fighters 2002, Unlimited Match. The King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match, like the King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match that came before it, is a celebration of one of the best fighting games ever released. Developer SNK revisited the game in 2009 and added gallery and color edit modes, as well as new menu artwork, polygonal stages, music, characters, and gameplay tweaks for a PlayStation 2 release. This Steam version is a slightly downgraded take on the PS2 game, but it features beautiful 2D stages and online play. Though this version lacks some of the PS2 title's features, KOF 2002 reigns as one of the best PC fighting games. It could use better netcode, though. The King of Fighters 13, Steam Edition. One of the most impressive sprite-based games ever created, The King of Fighters 13, Steam Edition brings SNK Playmore's excellent 3-on-3 2D fighter to the PC via Valve's digital distribution platform. If you've rumbled with friends and foes in the version that appeared on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 platforms, you'll feel right at home here. The intricate combat mechanics, gorgeous graphics, and up-tempo music are successfully ported over to this Steam game. Even better, The King of Fighters 13, Steam Edition contains all of the console DLC, The King of Fighters 13, Climax arcade features, and PC-centric graphics options. The Last Blade. SNK put weapons-based 2D fighting on the map with 1993's delightful Samurai Shodown, but the developer went on to refine the idea of sword combat 4 years later in a somewhat lesser-known Neo Geo title, The Last Blade. Recently released to the Steam platform with several contemporary bells and whistles, The Last Blade boasts excellent swordplay, a dozen exquisitely designed characters, and a gorgeous anime and manga-style presentation that make its 19th-century Japanese setting one of the most beautiful in fighting game history. Genre fans shouldn't hesitate to pick up this excellent PC fighting game, but the barren online play means most matches will take place locally. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has taken its fair share of flack since its reveal, and the venom is not at all unwarranted. The initial trailer for the tag team fighting game featured dull, washed-out graphics, and Capcom hot Mortal Kombat XL. When NetherRealm Studios released Mortal Kombat X to consoles in 2015, the game continued to evolve via free and paid updates that added characters, balanced the roster, and improved online play. However, the High Voltage Studios ported PC game received zero post-launch support, much to the dismay of hardcore Mortal Kombat fans. Thankfully, that changed with the Mortal Kombat XL update, a version of MKX that finally gives PC gamers all the extras that console-based fight fans have enjoyed for some time now. We dislike the idea of paying more money for PC content released long after the console version, but it's hard not to love the additions, which include even more fighters, stages, costumes, and gore. Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11 is far more than the guts and gore titles on which the series built its fame. The fighting game continues the series' tradition of kung fu theater-style action and otherworldly mysticism to lay the foundation for military operatives, ninjas, gods, and monsters to punch each other squarely in the face. With its character customization, HDR10 support, smooth animations, and new offensive and defensive meters, MK11 is the best Mortal Kombat game to date. Samurai Shodown. Clashing swords, blood spurts, and tense, measured play defines Samurai Shodown, SNK's beloved weapons-based fighting game series. This series refresh, the simply named Samurai Shodown, carries those elements to PC nearly a full year after the game first appeared on console. If you've waited this long in hopes that Samurai Shodown would add many PC-exclusive extras, you may be disappointed. This is largely the same game that appeared elsewhere. Still, Samurai Shodown's unique, defense-orientated gameplay make it a fighting game to check out for sword-swinging, bloodletting action. Prep for lengthy load times, though. Samurai Shodown Neo Geo Collection. Samurai Shodown Neo Geo Collection, SNK and Digital Eclipse's follow-up to the delightful SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, contains all the Sam Show games that appeared on the original Neo Geo, plus production art, SNK staff interviews, and a true surprise, an unreleased title that only briefly saw a location test. Overall, Samurai Shodown Neo Geo Collection is a wonderful piece of playable history, with the only blight against the PC game being its mediocre online components. Skullgirls II Encore. Skullgirls II Encore, the update to Reverge Labs' critically acclaimed original game, takes cues from many highly regarded fighting titles and blends it with the series' cartoony, Art Deco style. The indie fighter has a Capcom vs SNK style ratio system that lets you select up to 3 characters to battle up to 3 rival characters, as well as a Marvel vs Capcom style assist system. That said, Skullgirls II Encore's graphics aren't all that separated from the competition. The fighter also has a built-in system that automatically stops infinites, those annoying and abusive combos that never end. SoulCalibur VI. The fighting game renaissance wouldn't be complete without a new SoulCalibur title. The weapons-based combat series has seen its ups and downs over the years, but with SoulCalibur VI, developer Bandai Namco has taken what's worked in the past, swift, strategic combat and robust character customization, and paired it with the new Reversal Edge and Soul Charge battle mechanics to create an engaging PC fighting game that'll shine in all sorts of battles, whether they're between buddies or on big esports stages like EVO. SoulCalibur VI lacks the stellar presentation found in recent, competing releases, such as Dragon Ball FighterZ, Injustice 2, and the developer's own Tekken 7, but it's a strong title that deserves a place in your PC game collection. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Until very recently, the 40-year-old video game industry lacked its own Criterion collection, letting important pop culture contributions slip into oblivion. Thankfully, Digital Eclipse has taken up the game's preservation task, blessing gamers with titles that celebrate classics via accurate emulation and a bounty of production-related extras. The company's first foray into the fighting game genre is Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, a historical document in video game form. The package includes the mainline 2D arcade titles, the original Street Fighter to Street Fighter III, Third Strike, and a wealth of production-related materials, including a timeline, animation viewer, jukebox, and design sheets. It's a marvelous collection, one that shows why Street Fighter is one of the most important and beloved video game series. Street Fighter V, Champion Edition. Since the days of Street Fighter II, developer and publisher Capcom has updated early every Street Fighter release with a version, or two, that adds features, characters, stages, and alternate costumes. No game in the series has benefited from this practice more than Street Fighter V, a title that launched with a small roster and an over-reliance on paid downloadable content. With Champion Edition, however, Street Fighter V finally feels finished, thanks to multiple V skills, balance changes, and every character, stage, and costume released so far, save some very select content. Sadly, mediocre netcode and annoying monetization tactics are still issues. Tekken 7. Tekken 7, like the mainline Tekken games that came before it, is a tale of fathers and sons attempting to murder each other to purge the Mishima clan from the Devil Gene, a magical DNA bit that transforms certain people into Hellspawn. Touted as the conclusion of the Mishima drama, Tekken 7 reveals secrets and leaves cliffhangers, thus simultaneously answering long-standing questions and prompting the fan base to ask new ones. Thankfully, the wonderfully ridiculous tale is bolstered by some of the best mechanics featured in contemporary fighting games, with the new Power Crush, Rage Arts, and Rage Drive attacks deftly blending into the established mix. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 pits Marvel's superheroes against Capcom's video game characters in a frantic brawl. The 48-character headcount is impressive, but it's the individual characters that truly make the game shine. Marvel's side has several popular fighters, such as Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man, as well as once obscure characters that have gained recognition thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as Doctor Strange and Rocket Raccoon. Capcom's side is comprised mainly of characters from the company's fighting and action games, including Final Fight's Mike Hager and Street Fighter's Ryu. Ultra Street Fighter IV. Ultra Street Fighter IV marks the fourth version of Street Fighter IV and the third version available on the Steam platform. This final iteration of the one-on-one fighting game adds 5 new characters, 6 new stages, a YouTube upload option, and a host of gameplay tweaks. It's Street Fighter IV's best and meatiest update, though some balance and DLC issues prove a bit irritating. Still, Ultra Street Fighter IV is an excellent